Howdy, everybody. I hope you all are having a wonderful Friday. We'll wait for a moment for folks to roll in. We'll be drinking a little Yingling Black and Tan. I hope you're all doing great this Friday evening before Independence weekend. Independence weekend? Yeah, I think it's that. So it's great to see you. Hey, Kim, good to see you. Art, hello, Art. Raza, hello. David, hello. Let's go ahead and see if we can get David. Shaving Disciple, hello. David is on it, man. To go this evening. Ben, hello. Johan, Shaven Butcher. Severton Shaves with one of the biggest YouTube channels and fastest growing. Hello. What's up, Dave? Magic Mike, hello. Take care, man. Todd. Hey, Todd. Good to see you. Justin from the Canadian Mafia. Good to see you. By the way, folks, the Canadian Mafia has a show on Wednesday nights, so don't forget to check that out, and we'll try to plug that more as the next show gets closer. I caught the replay this week, and it's a really good show. I enjoyed it. Colonel Conk, hello. Some of these names are hard to read, David, like Yeshua joined.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's too difficult. Too difficult for me. But anyway, what's going on with you, David? Is everything well today in Los Angeles?
Oh yeah, everything's good. It's a warm 84 degrees today. Humidity is a little high, so it's a sweaty day. But all in all, man, it's not bad, dude. It's warm, but it's not unreasonable, so I'm good with it.
Good. Before we get started, I know at least in my family, there's been a lot of issues with health. My brother just recently got out of the hospital, complications with the Rona. My mother-in-law still in the hospital, so we're still dealing with that. So if anyone has good vibes and blessings and prayers to send, we certainly appreciate that. And we also send our prayers to Kim, who's here with us. She's going through a pretty serious health situation right now, too. So, Kim, prayers to you and good vibes as well. Okay, let's move it on. Let's see if Pete is ready. Yeah, this should be fun.
Did you contact him before this? Because Peter has a tendency to forget shit.
No, I didn't contact him, but I assumed he's professional.
I think you're asking for trouble now.
Oh, boy. Well, somebody please reach out to Pete and tell him he's supposed to be on Real Talk. No, I did not contact him because, we lined it up. So if Pete doesn't join, it would be bad because everything I have lined up here is for Pete. So I can't break away to contact Pete. So if somebody can reach out to Pete and...
Well, I could exit out. I'll be right back right now. I'll come back.
You assume incorrectly. Thanks, Severton. Hey, Banaka. Anyway, let's. What do we want to do now that we have no guest? It's just us. So if you got any questions or comments right now, hit me up, or anything from me, go ahead and hit it up right now because we're waiting on Pete and David. I just assumed Pete would be ready, and who knows what Pete's doing. He's a wildcat, so you never can tell. Will he be doing samples? That's on the list. I have a list of questions for Pete, and there'll be some tough questions. It's not going to be a love fest. However, we shall have fun. We shall have fun. Just bring on Severton Shades. It's a good idea. Hey, Phil. Shannon, hello. Great to see you. What beverage? The beverage for me for this evening is Yingling Black and Tan. This is porter and premium. What's next in the shaving space? Oh, man, I don't know. Hey, Stallion is here. Great to see you, Anthony. Anthony's been very, very busy recently. Maybe Pete is milking the... Justin, the Red Island Shaver said, maybe Pete is milking the emu. That's good. That's good, Justin. I like it. I like it. Some of you might be watching a little hockey on the side, I'm told, although I don't watch a lot of hockey. Hello, Art. Okay, let's see. Okay, Sneaky Pete. The reason I call him Sneaky Pete, there's really nothing sneaky about him, but there's a series on Amazon. It's a good series. It's called Sneaky Pete, and that's why. Shannon's got secrets. Hey, Stallion. Pete is in a model shoot. You never know with Pete. You never know. And again, I apologize for the delay. We like to keep it tight here on Real Talk. We don't like a whole lot of foolishness, but foolishness we have, sadly. Okay, let me see if I can get David or Pete back here real quick. Let's see. No, they don't appear to be ready yet, so we shall wait. And again, I'm sorry for the delay. Here's David. Okay, here we go. Just a moment. We'll put David back in. Pop David back in, that is. Yeah, Pete's always working a way to for a way to fleece us from our money.
So I did talk to Peter.
Uh-huh.
His headphones are giving him a little bit of issue, but he's trying to work that out. He'll be in just a
Okay.
moment.
I see Ariana and Evans the brand joined, so maybe I'll ask him to come in here. Again, apologize, folks, for the delay here. You never know. Sneaky Pete might have had two to 7 glasses of wine already. He's drinking the Chablis. He's got a little tipsy. You know, he's getting full up on the Fanta. There's no telling. Hello, Juan. Says, let me in. Okay, let me invite Pete. If I can find him here. Ariana and Evans. Just a second. There we go. Let's send request to Sneaky Pete. We'll set some ground rules. There he is. Are you here, Pete?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's
I'm
showing
not
me
seeing the
connecting.
video yet.
Here
Okay,
I am.
you're good. Okay,
Hey,
Pete.
sorry about that, guys. I was
Before we get started, we
Yeah.
have to set some ground rules. No filibustering.
What does that mean?
Well, it means the other day, a couple of people commented, and they were like, "Are you going to be able to ask Pete questions?" They said because on the last podcast, they would ask him one question, and he would go on for 37 minutes.
Yeah, I did.
We might have to cut you off.
Yeah, I got a little shit face on that one too.
Oh boy!
That's your calling card, bro. That's your signature move when you go on anything.
Well, by the way, welcome, Pete. And for those who don't know,
Thank you.
This is Pete from Ariana and Evans and the Shaving Shop Club. First, tell us a little bit about the club, because there's some folks who aren't members of the club. And actually, I had a question from a guy, Mac, and he says, why should he join the club? He wants to know what's in it for him. Why should he
you
join
should
the
tell
club?
him. You're a member.
I know.
All right, I'll tell him. So you don't have to become a member, so it's optional. So that's one difference from the very beginning, right? You had to become a member to access, the discounts and whatever we offered at the time. So now it's optional. The benefit of becoming a member is that you get 20% off, which, by the way, I thought that was the big calling card. I thought that was the main reason why people would join. Turns out it's not. That they like the exclusives. So, because I did a poll, you probably saw that maybe, 8 months ago or something like that. And it was like the overwhelming majority said that they liked the idea of having exclusives and first access to things. So, so you get the 20% off of everything that we make, that we offer. You get access to early releases way before the public. I'll give you an example. This is something we started a while ago. Asian Plum, which came out, that was probably within the club for 4 months before we released it. The Novelist was in the club for 2 or 3 years before we released that to the public. So so you get early releases, you get exclusives. Some never see the light of day other than what's within the club. Like Charlatan's Trapes, El Gaucho, which you liked. I don't think I don't think that's released to the public, and some other stuff. So, and by the way, K2 has been around for 6, 7, 8 months, whatever it's been. Mm-hmm. And I just introduced it to the public on Friday. Gotcha. So,
hey, not to mention, Pete, Vida, the Lathering Blade exclusive, it's only available through Lathering Blade or the club. That will not be a public release.
It will not be a public release. And in fact, I didn't even mention to the club members. I forgot. I was so busy putting it up on the site. But they'll have access to it if they're members of Lather and Blade. Maybe after this conversation, I'll notify them on that. So I would have been under the gun. It's tough. We've been busy, thank God. But this weekend wiped us out. So with the release and the public release and the stuff for the members only. Oh, that's another thing. So I introduced for members only Pedro Fiasco, Grecian Horse. I think the Kingdom I released to the public as well. So those are all re-releases of stuff that Pedro hasn't been around for, I think, a couple years. So yeah, it's good stuff. So those are some of the benefits.
Gotcha.
You have access to the Facebook. Oh, I'm filibustering, aren't I?
No, you're fine. Yeah. It required some explanation.
Yeah. So it's completely optional. You don't have to join. Some people don't want to have to pay for a subscription. Oh, that's one important thing. So it's a subscription service. It's 6 months, $12.95 for 6 months, and then it should pay for itself after your first purchase or two.
Yeah,
For the
it does.
overwhelming majority of people, it does. Yeah, so it's a good deal. It's a good deal if you're a hobbyist, if you're going to be buying, if you like our product. If you're only going to become a member and buy one soap, then don't do it. It's not worth it.
Excellent. I have a question here from Silky, and Silky is a big fan of
Yes, I
Ariana and
know.
Evans. I don't know if you've seen Silky, but he's got Ariana and Evans stuff all around
You kidding me? You
on
see
his.
Silky, I see his orders every day.
Well,
So
okay, but he wants to know: will there ever be a time where soaps are produced in a particular market? So, for example, might they be produced in Europe, actually made in Europe and shipped from there, as opposed to them being all made in your shop there and shipped overseas?
the answer is yes. And so I'm supposed to be in the Philippines right now. I couldn't get a visa. So they have and normally if you're a U.S. citizen and if you're going to be there for less than 30 days, you don't need a visa. But that's changed, this whole thing with COVID. And now they're getting a spike over there with the Delta strain. So they're not allowing tourists in. And it doesn't matter if I'm starting a business there or not. I'm still, I guess, considered a tourist. So the answer is yes, because we'll be opening up. It's going to be a small facility because I don't know how much, but it's going to take time. So that market is in its infancy when it comes to wet shaving. I think the vast majority. I'm guessing at this, but my guess is the vast majority of the wet shavers are expatriates, expats, from the UK, Australia, US. So I actually get a lot of business from Asia. I get a tremendous amount of business from Europe. So I'm taking a gamble. I'm willing to take that financial risk. I'm willing to lose a bit of money. Hopefully I won't lose money, but I'm in it for the long term because I think that's the market to be in the future, and I want to be the first there. So I'm not aware of any artisans
So let me hit you
there.
with a
So
let me hit you with a tough question here, because
yeah,
this can't be a softball session. What do you say, or how do you respond to people like Losing Skeletor, who
yeah.
says, "There's too much sand in your soap. It's too much, man. I'm melting." Skeletor is melting.
Skeletor.
Too much sand in the soap.
Am I still getting that?
No.
You
Well,
actually,
it's something that's been raised in the past. I have not heard it recently, but what would be your sort of response to
well,
that
I
sort of
mean,
thing?
that's
I'm
just what
joking
we
about
do.
Skeletor, by the way.
Yeah. I know. Oh, but by the way, did you get the shipment? Smell it, and then I'll answer the question. How do you like it?
I like it. It's great. I don't know what's in it, but I think I'm getting like cucumber and some green
Yeah.
stuff.
He wanted a cucumber forward soap.
It's definitely a
So
green sort of vibe to it.
yeah. So yeah, I didn't want a fake sweet crappy cucumber stuff that you buy off the shelf. So I have two different types of cucumbers. I have cucumber hydrosol. Oh, so it's great, and an essential oil.
Are you eating the
I'm,
soap right now?
I'm eating pizza. This is my breakfast. I haven't
So,
eaten yet.
so
So
anyway, back
anyway,
to the question.
so listen, this is what we do. So listen, you guys knew me before I started a
Yes,
stupid
we did.
business, right?
Sure.
So, and if we're a flash in the pan, I don't think we are now, but that was my biggest fear. That was going to just be a flash in the pan. So, but if we were, guess what? I would start posting my shades of the day every freaking day. I'm less involved in the community like I was, only because I work a lot. And
Right.
also, it's probably not the best idea to be so connected. I mean, it's great, but it's a double-edged sword. So one, I'm really busy, and two, I'm really honestly, I'm a member of still a lot of groups. I left quite a few, but I'm just mostly involved with the VIP group that we have. Well, that was another benefit. So we have a VIP group, which is very active. It's really, really, really good. And of course, our group. So that's
Right.
pretty much it for me at this point.
Well, let me explain something about this particular soap here, which Pete
Hmm.
is coming out with. Now, this, of course, is Nate. We call him Losing Skeletor from BBS Live, and Mel, right here from BBS Live. What happened was there was a poll in the Shaving Shop Club VIP group, and Pete was asking, should I increase the scent? Should I decrease the scent? Should I leave it the same? And Nate, also known as Losing Skeletor, well, after
Because
the
of
poll,
that.
he voted for decrease the scent when like it was astronomical in favor of leave it the same or even increase it. And Nate went for a decrease. And then later he tried to say there was no other option, which there was because I voted early in that poll. And that's when Junior had been calling him Skeletor. And then we added the low scent in front of the Skeletor. And that's how low scent Skeletor was born and became legend, which is now Nate. And also keep in mind, they had released the duo, and it was extremely low scented, and it was whack, to be honest,
Is
because
that
it
the
was,
first one or the second one?
yeah,
The
the
first
second one
one
is fantastic.
fucking sucked,
Second
dude. The
one,
first one sucked.
the first one was the scent was just way too light. It smelled almost like cookie dough. So these two things happened relatively close together, and that's how low scent Skeletor was born. Junior and myself were the ones that kept repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. And then Pete, and this is one of those times where I say that Pete is one of us. He does things like this. He has fun. He'll take hits because of it, but he's willing to take those hits, and we appreciate that. And also, just a week or so ago, we saw Pete giving away 20 or more soaps in the Facebook group, just giving away soaps in the VIP group, and we appreciate that sort of thing. I just want to thank you for that. I know you are one of us, although you're in the business now. We appreciate that you still remain connected. It is a double-edged sword, as you say, but we thank you for it.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. So
Something that
I love the hobby. I love the hobby, and listen, I watched you guys, and a ton of video. I don't watch nearly as many videos as I used to, only because I just don't have the time. But listen, I was just like you guys when a new soap. You remember back in those days,
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't so many soap makers, right?
Right.
And it was a really big deal when somebody
Yeah.
was going to release a soap. It didn't matter if it was at midnight. We're in front of our computer and keep refreshing.
Yeah.
Because we were so worried that it was going to sell out, and
They
we
were
wouldn't be
small
able to get
batches
it.
back then.
Yeah, back then it was small batches, so they would sell out really quick. So,
David, did you have something? I'm sorry, you were ramping up there for a moment.
I don't even remember no more. You guys go ahead.
sorry, David. Hey, what's up, brother? David, how are you?
Well,
David.
he's like, okay.
I'm just the eye candy here. I don't know what to tell you.
That you are.
Well, let me move into another question from Silky. He wants to know if you ever plan to offer a budget line, or do you plan to continue offering premium offerings at affordable prices?
Yeah. So the answer is yes to both. And also, just to touch one last thing with his question. So we're going to be manufacturing in the Philippines for that market, and who knows about Europe. So we'll see about that. But right now we're handling it here. So
Okay.
all right. So that's that. So now the other one is a budget line. So we have one already, but I've neglected it, as David would say, because David mentioned about the shave serum, which is really, really good. So we have the shave serum. It's like 6 ounces for I think $15.99, and
Nice.
so I'm gonna make that even better. That's one, at the same price, and two, I'm gonna add to that pretty dramatically. The other budget line or budget soap that we have is the face spackle.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm redesigning that. That's actually pretty good
It is.
for the price. And I'm going to redesign that. I'm not going to raise the price. I'm going to push it to the limit. I'm going to add some of the ingredients that I added in Kaizen 2. So I think I can make the post shave, and I can make the lather actually better, much better. So I'm going to add to that as well. Right now we have that as unscented and with a sandalwood type scent. It's really the city. I'm using the same oils as the city for that. David looks so bored. Sorry, David.
Oh, don't believe me. He'll jump in when something pops up. Hold on just a sec. So Silky also wants to know what buying trends you're seeing. What's more popular of yours that's selling? Is the vegan skin essentials line doing well, or I mean, what are you seeing?
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know about the Skin Essentials line. I mean, some people it started to take notice, but it's picking up, but that's slowly. But I remember I was thinking, was it Heather or somebody else?
Oh
From
God!
Zingari? What? I forgot who it was, but somebody it was a soap maker, and they offered both vegan and tallow, and I think the tallow was just doing much better. And it's the same thing for me, but although this is still a relatively new base, and I haven't really pushed it as far as building the hype. You know how I like to build up hype. But I back it up. But it's kind of word of mouth. So to answer his question, when I have new releases, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I showed, you guys are good. Oh, I don't care. I'll say we sold over 1,000 products over the weekend. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot, dude. So listen, I'm just a regular guy. I never went to college. I was a sales guy, and I went into this freaking hobby because I thought I was going to save some money, and I ended up going crazy like everyone else. I stopped counting at 180 soaps. My daughter comes in and says, "Daddy, you need to start a business and get rid of all these soaps." That's how the business started, literally. And so I mean, I'm just like you. I'm just you guys. I was lucky. I got a good job without college. Nowadays, I think that's almost impossible to have the type of job that I had. But I'm just a regular guy. Barely made it through high school. So literally, barely made it through. Because I just didn't care. All I wanted to do is have a good time and party. Yeah.
Kim wants to know, because this sort of your daughter you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Kim wants to know, how did you come up with the name for Ariana and Evan? So I know this is related to your daughter.
Great question. So my daughter's name is Talia Ariana Charkalis. And my name on my birth certificate is Evans Peter Paul Charkalis.
Say what?
So Evans
Come
Peter.
Again?
Yeah. So I always
David,
went by Peter.
Evans.
I think I may have mentioned that. So
is that like a candy bar, Peter Paul?
I know. So my father's brother passed away when he was 19 in just a horrific car accident, and that was a year before I was born. So I was named after him. But his name was Evans Peter Paul, and but he went by the name Peter. And so even though my first name is Evans, everyone knows me as Peter. Nobody calls me Evans. So that's how the name came about. And it's funny because I get a lot of shit. You saw the label I posted today. So I get a lot of crap, not on Facebook, but in another social media place. And
you don't gotta be scared here, Peter. We got you. You're safe here. You good.
No. It doesn't matter. I'm a member. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to mention. But so I get stuff like, oh, he's sexist, misogynist, And it's almost as if I was an abuser of women, and I have some kind of sex ring. That's how bad they make it out to be. And I just want to tell you guys something. I'm the only fucking guy in this company. Noodle used to work, but my daughter got my daughter got rid of him. So it was my daughter's boyfriend.
She kicked him to the curb.
Oh, there's no more Noodle?
No more Noodle.
Goodbye, Noodle.
Yeah, he's a good kid. So
not good enough.
The company is like it's a woman-run company. I'm just the pretty face. My wife is very much involved. You'd be absolutely shocked how involved my daughter is. As a very young girl, she's got I'm so proud of her. She's absolutely brilliant. She's beautiful. If you've seen pictures of her, and she used to do videos with me, but incredibly intelligent, and her business sense is uncanny. I mean, better than she's my go-to person, and she's going to be 18 October. I mean, when it comes to the aesthetics, and the scents that I create. I run everything by her first. And if she doesn't like something, whether it's a label or it's a scent or whatever, I don't release it. That's how much I trust her judgment. So, I mean, literally, I'm the only guy here. So it's just, I kind of laugh at that crap when people bust my balls about labels. So I'm freaking doubling down. I'm going to do something.
There you go.
Excellent
So,
question, Steve. Excellent question.
what's that?
Well, no, I'm talking to our wonderful audience. You guys can ignore them. I will
so,
pay attention to our audience.
So, yeah, so I did answer your question, I think.
yeah, so Pete, there's a great question here from Patrick, because I've asked you this before. One of the things that kind of, I don't know, it perturbs me is I'll see in the VIP group, they'll be asking you to re-release a soap that just came out 6 months ago, like a Club Baccarat or something, like something that's been done, and they're like, can you put it in Kaiser 2E? You just released it, and I'm like, hey, Pete, if you're going to bring out a retread, do you have the ability to go back and bring out some of those early club offerings like Emerald Moss? Now, this was Patrick's question. Do you have the rights to bring back some of those early offerings that people may not be aware of?
Well, I don't know about the rights. I wouldn't want to. So let's say Emerald Moss. That was based upon Irish Moose, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so I have no problem. It won't be exact, but I actually started fiddling around with that to see if I can come up with my own version. I mean, that was a great selling soap, but a great smelling soap is what I actually meant to say. And the scent was great, but that was from Soap Smooth. Oh, you got to, I'll take that. My wife just came by with, I didn't have any alcohol with me.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So
now you're gonna get loose.
Yeah, now I'm gonna get loose. So but if it was something like Casablanca, although I know, I'll have that.
I love that
What's
Casablanca. That Casablanca scent was really good, dude. I still have mine.
Yeah. I know how to make that, but out of respect for Douglas, Culitos. Let me see that. Where'd you get? Hold on 1 second. Do you have a wine opener? Yeah. I love this label.
That's going to be coming to a soap soon,
That's going to be a soap. No shit. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw this. Culitos.
Okay, so we gotta get into some of the tough material here, and we've talked about this privately. Now, one of the things that I'm sure you can tell the audience is that both David and I talk to you privately. Like when we see something, we'd go, Pete, why did you do that? Like the difference between a fan, a friend, and a fanboy is a fanboy accepts everything, blesses everything, goes, you're great, you're number one no matter what. Friends and fans will check you. And I think you can tell the audience that David and I certainly check you from time to time. We don't sugarcoat everything. So I'm just prefacing what I'm about to ask you about here, because this is the number one piece of feedback that comes to me with respect to Ariana and Evans. And while I don't face this problem often, I've only ever had a couple of things delayed or something like that. People do voice it from time to time, and it's generally around fulfillment, speed of fulfillment, and so on. And I know that you've talked about upping your staff and things you're trying to do to improve that. So how do you respond to that?
Yeah, that's actually easy. So it's always been our Achilles heel, even when we're much less busier than when we're just doing this stuff in the kitchen. Because just for a small business, when it was just my wife and I, we were really quite busy. And I'm kind of new at this. With my other job, I was a sales guy. I never ran a company and had to schedule these. So it's just all this stuff is a learning experience, even still for me. And what I do is I don't just make soaps. It's just a tremendous amount of work creating the scents, interfacing with the vendors, forming alliances. I was doing a lot of travel at one point all over the world. And it's a big challenge. Now, So there's no excuses. But how do I put this delicately? Well, fuck it, I'm not
Here
going
it
to be
comes,
delicate.
people.
Yeah. My wife is giving me, she's going
Think
like this.
before you speak.
Yeah. No, all right, but this is the truth. I was a hobbyist, right? I, all right. She's telling me to watch it. So when I
She's
placed
smart.
when I listen, when I placed orders, I'm not going to give you an excuse. I'm just saying how I was, and then I'm going to answer the question. So
Sure.
when I placed orders, I just placed the order. I didn't give a shit. I had enough soaps. I just waited for it. I know these guys are busy. And everyone was a small business operator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was working out of their house. PAA was working out of back in the time, I think in Massachusetts and in an apartment.
Right.
I don't know where Soap Commander was working, probably out of their house. Well, this is even before we even heard of Barrister Man, but I guess at that time when they first introduced, he was, I think, cooking soaps in maybe Boston in an apartment, and then maybe to this family's house. But everyone was working out of the house, right? Unless unless you're buying tobs or something that's manufactured, and they can make thousands at a time. So I understood this, and but that's how I was. I just waited for it to come. And then when it would come, a lot of times I would forget I placed an order because I was nuts, placing all these orders. I just forgot what I ordered. And so it would come in. And so that's how, so I never kind of understood that thing where I placed an order. Literally, I get this kind of crap. I placed an order on Friday. I'm going to offend somebody. I placed an order on Friday and it's now Monday and I didn't get my tracking number. It's like, okay, what am I going to do? So sorry. But so moving forward, what are we going to do? So I understand not everyone has that mindset and everyone's
Right.
excited. They place an order. They're really
Yes.
excited, but they also know they place an order with Magards. It ships out sometimes the same day. West Coast Shaving probably ships out the next day or the same day. Some of these artisans ships out within 24 hours, 48 hours,
Yes.
or 3-4 days. But a lot of artisans are still doing this out of their home and are selling, 5 soaps a day, 10
Mm-hmm.
soaps a day. It's a little bit easier. It's not an excuse because we have ramped up. You see, we have a facility here. We're running
Right.
the second. What time is everyone coming in? Yeah. So we have a 2 shifts working here. What I've done is so now I'll answer the question. I've invested a lot of money into the business. So I don't know if you can see there,
Yeah.
back there. So I have a big vat, a cooker, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I no longer cook on induction cooktops, which most, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 U.S.-based artisans are cooking on. They're still cooking on 20-quart stainless steel pots on an induction cooktop, maybe multiple induction cooktops. So I have a big vat there. That one sucks, $3,300 wasted. But behind it on the other end, so that's where I work. And the other end, I have a really good one that's a double boiler. It's smaller. It's a 17-gallon double boiler. I really push it because I can do 400 soaps in that. But when you add the lye mix, everything comes to the top. Literally, Evelyn can tell you, it almost like a volcano where it's about to come over the top. So it's really small to do 400 soaps, but that's what I do on both. I just ordered from the same manufacturer, the same double boiler, 42 gallons. So, I mean, it's an exceptional product, but the problem is the lead time is 15 weeks because they can't get sheet metal. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. So it's a problem for us to get oils and butters and jars. Sometimes I have to go to different manufacturers. I have backup to backups for everything, butters and oils and jars. That's why I had to switch to jars. Because before it was different. Now it's more like I think Declaration is using this, and I don't know who else. But so what am I doing? So so that's going to be a 3rd cooker. This one I will also use the shitty one for making candles. So I'll be able to that new one I'll be able to do 600, 800 at a clip. And by the way, I had to buy these because there was no way I was going to get that Italian order done without doing that. So moving forward, we're able to produce now much, much quicker than ever before. Before, the most I can do in one pot is 100. I was doing batches of 100. Now I'm doing batches of 400. And this one I should be able to do 600 to 800 easy, with room to spare. So I'm doing that. What we're going to be doing is, and I'm so confident that we'll be able to turn things around. We're going to be able to actually build up inventory, which is something that we've never, ever, ever, ever been able to do. The only time I had inventory is when I was reselling the stuff that the artisans were making me. This is before I went into the soap making business. So I would order and I would have inventory.
I'm sorry. Someone just told David to blink once if he was being held hostage. David, feel free to jump in. Feel free to jump in when you have a question, thought, concern. Because you know Pete, he's filibustering.
I don't even know what the fuck you guys are talking about. I just know that he spent money on something and now he's drinking.
So you're ramping up production, right? Now,
ramping up.
What are we doing to get it out the door?
So I have employees. So okay. I also have Sandra, who's coming in tonight. She's great, and I'm training her on making soaps. So that's going to help out tremendously, because there's only so much that I can do. Even though I now have these really commercial grade cookers, thank God. So she's going to help. That's going to help me a lot. And so we'll be able to ramp up, and now I'll be able to create inventory. So now what we can do is just pull from the shelves, just like a normal business, right? We've never been able to do that.
What you're describing is, in times past, when people have placed orders, that product might not already be ready.
Most certainly, it probably wasn't.
Oh, well,
that
would explain some things.
I was making them to order.
Oh,
so I would have, because I didn't know how to handle this. We didn't have room in the house for inventory, right? So what I would do is make a lot of unscented soaps, and have big 5-gallon buckets of unscented soaps, and basically scent. I think there's another soap maker that's been in the business for a long time that's always like anxious to. I think that's how what I'm talking about. So, but some do that. If they're smart, they don't do that because it's very time consuming. I just never had the time or opportunity to change it. Now I do, because I have people in place, and I have larger equipment, because we're really busy, and it's something I just can't do any longer. And I had mentioned that when I had, remember when I built the addition and we outgrew that?
Yes, I do.
I had mentioned that back then, but I never had the opportunity because I was still cooking on the induction cooktops. But now I have commercial grade cookers, so now I can make a lot of soaps in one day.
Okay, so everybody is needling, and they're like, keep it moving. So I gotta keep it moving a little bit. So let's start with
just tell me to shut up.
Okay,
and then we'll move on.
So Lord Shady, well, let me just go. We're out of order here, but I'm going to introduce a new segment, and this is a tribute to So Sharp David, our co-host. It's called That's Whack Dog. So pay attention, Pete. And what we're going to do is bring up something that's whack. And I'm going to start with Nate and his limitation on soaps that he can keep because of that doggone saxophone. That's whack dog. That's whack dog. Get rid of that saxophone. Get more soaps, Nate. Show your dedication to this hobby. We don't have time for that saxophone. That's whack dog. David, on to you.
Ben Noodles is no longer part of the shave community, bro. I miss Noodles already. That's whack, dog.
Yeah, it's whack. That is whack.
Pete, it's up to you.
It's whack, dog.
What's whack? You gotta bring something. Come on.
Oh, I have to bring some. I get it. Oh, fuck. The fact that I'm doing this show again and I'm not drunk yet, I think that's pretty whack.
There you go. No, obviously I'm joking about Nate there. We just give him a hard time. Everything about Nate and BBS Live is a joke, but no one should limit themselves. If you have the finance to obtain these fine shaving wares and support these artisans, do so, as long as you're not
that's right.
putting yourself in the poorhouse.
Forget about paying rent. Forget about paying the mortgage. Send the money over to us.
All right, let's see here. We have a question by Judd. Will 2021 be the year that Pete gets even cuter with the bald head?
No,
You want to see that head?
it's never gonna happen.
Oh no, Peter's gonna
Uh-oh.
keep the Mr. Burns, dude. Peter's gonna have just that horseshoe right here. It's gonna be just be all sandpit. There's nothing.
All right. Let's see
No,
what else.
they have this powder that you can use. You remember on the commercials they had GH formula spray, the sprayer, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden it was like shoe polish that they would spray on the hair. That's what I'm gonna be using.
So, Severton Shaves asked a question that I also have on my list. What about the samples? Don't you care about the customer's happiness, Peter? Don't you care about these customers?
No, I do, but I care about my happiness more. So, I listen.
That's
how many
whack,
times-
dog.
That is whack. So this pizza's whack. This pizza. So I've explained this. You guys, I might, now that I have employees, I may do samples, but I'm not going to give it away. No, I may. Because it was too time consuming. But
You heard it here first, baby. You heard it
maybe.
here
There you go.
first.
But here's the thing. It takes as much time to send out a sample, a $2.50 sample, whatever the price would be, than it does to ship out a $40 order. So and
Well,
we're so busy as it is.
let me stop you for just a minute, Pete.
Yeah.
Here's the other side of it. What a sample does from the customer perspective for those who want those. If they like the scent, you just generated a sale, probably a soap and a splash. If they don't like the scent, at least they haven't bought something that they're unhappy with. So there's the customer
Of course,
side of
of
it.
course. So also coming from me, I was never into samples personally. People would send me samples. I don't know about David. I don't think you use samples either. I would throw them I would just toss them in the drawer. And I don't. Yeah, I do see the value in it, and I absolutely know there's a lot of people that don't buy unless they have a sample of it first. But I mean, they can buy from Magards.
Nate had a great idea about if there's a way to do like scratch and sniff or those type of just a sample of the scent. Maybe not even the whole soap, but a way to be able to ship just a scent. I don't know, one of those little spray cards that like at the fucking fragrance store, something like that. It takes a minimal space, minimal cost, minimal time.
That's a good
that
idea.
would be golden if somebody did something like
That's
that.
a great idea.
Fucking
Yeah.
samples of soaps, I fucking hate them. I still collect them. I have a fucking Ziploc bag that's bigger than I could fit on the fucking screen. A fucking
I would
sample
say-
that's been sitting for 3, 4, or 5 years.
I would say overwhelmingly, most of the people that I hear from are interested. So anyway, let's go to Matt's question. We saw Chris's favorite A&E scent the other day. What's your favorite, David? What's your favorite A&E scent, David, or club scent?
The Vanille Vendetta may be my favorite.
Ooh.
And I really, really am. I love peach and cognac. And this Vita soap, man, this Vita soap is so fucking good, man. It's up there. I'm going to have to do like a side-by-side comparison because I've really fallen in love with those three scents. Peach and Cognac, Vanille Vendetta,
That's great.
and the Vita. They're three all very different soaps, so they're almost hard to compare, but I really kind of fallen in love with those three.
What's your favorite, Peter?
So it really does, it varies from time to time for different reasons. So right now, Vanille Vendetta, I really, really love. That Chasing the Dragon's always been a favorite for me, and it still is actually my wife's favorite. I really like what I did with Vita, and I really love what the soap.
I don't know what's going on with David. Go ahead.
Was he wrestling Rocio?
He's in the middle of being DDT'd, I think.
And well, and I actually that it's not just because it's coming out. It's going to be on a very, very limited basis. So, but I love that Losing Skeletor soap. So I'm really anxious to see how.
I'm going to get so many comments on this and on what the hell is David doing in the middle
David,
of the
what
show.
are you doing? You're really messing this up, David.
Okay, continue, Peter. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, but I'm anxious to hear your feedback. I think Nate is going away this weekend, so I don't know if he was able to get it in time. I sent it out to him. I sent out Mel some. I'll send David a puck. or a jar
Pick up what? Pick up what? What are we talking about?
of the Losing Skeletor. I
Oh
really,
yeah.
really liked how that came out.
There's a question here, and it's like, what's your favorite Bear Stearns Man scent, Pete?
Uh, Passiflora, and which they don't make anymore. And oh, what was the one? Something 42?
Oh, Area? No, not Area 42.
No,
What was it?
no.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. That was a very, very, very good scent.
Let's see. Josh Chihuahua asks, is the 48-hour shipped guarantee still in the works?
Yes. So
Okay, cool.
originally I said 24, and then I
Mhm.
thought better of that. So what the hell am I saying? There's no way. But yeah, we're gonna try it out first with the club members once I build up the inventory and stuff like that, because I don't see a problem getting that done. The only issue that I have is because I have two stores, and they don't sync up with each other. So I probably need an app or something that'll be able to sync up with those two stores, because so to keep accurate inventory. But once I'm able to do that and build up the inventory, I don't see why I couldn't. So basically what I said to the members was that I'm thinking that we can do this and guarantee a 48-hour turnaround time, and if not, the soap's free. So I think we could do it. But I may rethink not the 48 hours, but maybe the free soap, maybe free shipping, or maybe free soap. I don't know. Let's see how confident I am.
Molecular Jeff. I'm sorry, Pete. I
go
got to
ahead.
keep it moving. I apologize.
Yeah, that's good.
Molecular Jeff says aftershave sample. He's referencing a way to experience the scent there. So I've also seen that, and that's a pretty good idea as well.
It's a good idea. And actually, I did that at one point. I used to sell back. This is a long time ago before I made soaps. These little samples of the soap, and also the matching aftershave splash. Now it'd be too much work for it. We weren't very busy at the time. That would be a challenge, but that would be much easier than doing the soaps. So I had them in these little, vials. So I think 5 ml vials.
Our good friend Anthony McPherson, who's been around a long time.
I love Anthony.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. Is Drew Dick still making straights for the club? Yeah.
No, that's been many years ago. But stay tuned. You guys know, but I'm not going to announce anything. But I've been working on on stuff, a little something. So, but actually, it's much bigger. This is a big deal. So, let's see what happens.
Okay, we'll move it on, because otherwise you're going to give it away. Mark wants to know, is the line geared towards women still in the works?
Yes. Geared to so the Ariana and Evans brand. Let me back up. The club brand will always be for wet shavers. That is the brand for wet shaving. Ariana and Evans you'll see it morphing into more of a lifestyle brand and some spin-off stuff that I'll be doing. So I have so many ideas in my head, but so yes is the answer to the question. I'm going to be doing a lot more unisex soaps, a lot more latherless stuff. I developed a latherless soap. I'm still perfecting. That's really, David has it. It's like a gel. The consistency is almost like a slime, right? I don't know if you've used it, but it's super, 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 super slick and moisturizing. So I think it'd be great for the women. The application right now wouldn't work. I'm going to put it in a pump, in a really cool pump. But I think that would be a big seller for women. And so I'll be developing more and more for women, and also along the Skin Essentials line for skincare. But it's unisex. So if you notice, the packaging is minimalist, and it's not masculine, it's not feminine. It's modern, and anyone can buy it and not worry about it being too feminine or too manly. So that was the design, and we did that on purpose because I want to attract more and more women into not only the hobby but just to my business. So the Ariana and Evans brand.
We have something here that came from, I believe, Mariana and Shady. This is a revolutionary idea, and we all want on the ground floor of this as it takes up. We have potions we have elixirs, we have serums, we have every kind of magical solution for healing. But might Ariana and Evans be the first to develop, wait for this now because this is big, an ointment or salve? No one has a healing salve or ointment. Everybody's posing to look. That's a joke, by the way. It was funny because the other day they said, what about a salve? No one has a salve and no one has an ointment.
Actually, I think Declaration does. Don't they
Oh,
have a
really?
salve? I think so.
I did not know. Oh, so
I
we've
think they
already
call
missed
it.
the boat on that. Oh, well. It's not revolutionary after all. Okay, let's. It's now time to check in with David because he's been zoned out for a time. David, what are your observations thus far?
Oh, it's my turn.
No,
Wow.
I said jump in anytime.
No. Just I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's like between when Peter ends a sentence and you start, there's like not even a period in between, so there hasn't been real much room to slide in there. But nah, man, fuck, I remember actually what I wanted to say earlier. It was just really impressive the speed in which that Peter was able to come up with both the Vida soap, with me requesting changes and back and forth, and right after he jumped off that, he was able to finish the Losing Skeletor soap pretty immediately afterwards. And that's just impressive, especially with Barrel Proof. I know it took Barrel Proof like 6 months to come out when it was supposed to be the same base notes, just better. And but I was really impressed with the speed that he was able to pump that stuff out. That's what I
Thank
remember
you.
also trying to say earlier, and it just totally fucking escaped me.
Thank you. Well, in
Roger
fairness
that.
to the other Artisan, I appreciate that. In fairness to the other Artisan, I think she was in the middle of a move. And I think maybe she was working a full-time job at the time when she started. And I think now, so you never know what's going on in someone's life. But I appreciate that.
So, by the way, just keep in mind, I'm trying to keep it moving. That's why they're kind of coming quickly. I'm not trying to, lock David out or anything like that. So, David, you're free to jump in anytime.
Oh yeah, I'm not offended.
Josh Chihuahua says, rethink the no parking order to add an upcoming drop for 2 weeks or less VIP perk. I don't know what that means whatsoever. Do you?
Wait, let me say that. Rethink the no parking order to add an upcoming drop for 2 weeks or less VIP perk. Yeah, I don't understand that.
We're moving on. I'm trying to get to these questions. Raza asked, where's his Vita set? And Raza deserves one.
Oh, absolutely. You're going to get it.
Damn right he does.
Because Raza's been killing it.
Yes.
So Shady says, Diction ointment. Come on.
It depends on where you're going to put that ointment. If you have hemorrhoids, that might burn a little bit. So I don't know where the ointment is going.
So Nate, I believe it's Nate, asked, out of the countries, why did you pick the Philippines as a new location for expansion?
Yeah, good question. So obviously I'm here in the States. So we've got the U.S. and Canada covered. I hope to grow in Latin America and then into South America more, but we can handle that from here for now anyway. Europe, we have our distributor. So we've got Europe pretty much covered. We've expanded big time in Europe. And in fact, we've partnered with Nico from Goodfellas and Barbieri Uniti in Italy. So he's got 5,000 retailers, but he also has his own store. He has his own warehouse. And we've been talking about this for quite some time. And also just having a lot of European VIP members. They've always asked, it's really expensive to ship to Europe. And then they have to pay customs fees. And sometimes it goes to customs and never makes it to them.
Right.
So for a couple years or so, they've been asking, is there anything, can we have a European club? And so the answer now is yes. I shipped out a lot of soaps and splashes to Italy. And so we've expanded our partnership. They will have their own European version of the club. It actually is piggybacking what they have. I think it's called Goodfellas Smile Gold Club or something like that. So they already have a club.
Awesome.
There. So it'll be sold through their version of the club.
Outstanding.
So it won't be available. So it's still exclusive. I hate that word exclusive because that means that we're excluding people. So, and I would get criticized on, oh, we're an elitist. Oh, I did write that on that soap label. That's one thing that we're just an elitist. Yeah, we're an elitist. We're elitist for $2 a month. So yeah, that makes us elitist. So yes. Go
So
ahead.
let me move it along here. Mario has a question that I've got quite a few times this week. What's up with the EDPs and EDTs? People are very interested in EDPs and EDTs.
Yeah, I know. I really want the packaging. So I want the Ariana Evans brand, the packaging to be better. And when it comes to the labels for the soaps, I'm back and forth in my mind. Do I have more of a structured approach where the labeling is consistent, maybe that black and white, or do I, do crazy stuff with Raza? And so we've been having these conversations with, Raza and I, and I don't know what I think as you grow, you should standardize. But the problem is that the hobbyists in the business, they love the labels, the crazy labels. Some love the Matt Hilton, God bless Matt Hilton. He loved just the simple, minimalist, black and white label. So I'm not sure which direction I'm going to go. Now, to answer your question regarding EDPs, yes, I'm redesigning the boxes. So I was getting cheap sprayers. Now we're going to have real perfumers grade bottles where you have to have clampers, so it's not the screw off perfume bottles. They're not the cheap stuff. Right. You have to. It's really good stuff and a really good packaging. So that's the direction we're going at. So it just takes time. And Sheila is helping me with that as well. So
let me ask you a question.
Why the Philippines? There was a question about why the Philippines.
That was the original question.
Yeah. So not many people know this, but Sheila, who's like an assistant and
is Sheila a real person?
She's a real person. And so when I go to David mentions
are we
this
sure?
all the time. Some guys think that she's fake.
Is she an AI or a real person?
Yeah, she's a real person. So, but she lives in the Philippines, and
okay.
So it's a big business. The Philippines with telemarketing and support staff outsourced. Philippines is really big at that, and they're really good. She speaks English great. She's actually a pharmacist by trade, and they have a pharmacy. The family's in that business, but she can make as much money, if not more, doing this. Just the way things are with the exchange rate and all that. So her fiance's they opened a small pharmacy. He's doing that. He's a pharmacist. So she's gonna open up. She's gonna run the business for me out in the Philippines.
Awesome.
Yes. So that's the main reason why I chose the Philippines.
Robert wants to know. Wants to know, and this is going to trigger David. So prepare for a triggering. Robert wants to know where he can get a print or replica of this artwork from the
What Robert is this? Oh, what Robert is this?
On YouTube, a viewer, but he really likes this artwork, and he would like to. He wants to know if it's for sale by the artist.
Yeah. You would probably have to contact the artist, and it's not inexpensive. I have one of his pieces on the wall here that he gave.
Oh God, does it look like that one?
It's similar. That's his style.
I have to say, originally, it's like, now I think my complaint got somewhat conflated with other things. I always said, where's the information? I don't see Ariana and Evans or the ounces, that was always my complaint. And I thought the artwork was
but you
wonky,
purchased it. But David, Chris, you purchased it from me. You know who it's from.
I love it. And it's my favorite scent of last year. It's the best aquatic scent. It's the best aquatic scent that I've ever experienced. I love it. It's fantastic. Now, David, he couldn't take it. He got rid of it. Right, David?
He wouldn't even shave with it because he hated it so much.
What happened? It's a fantastic scent, but I did give the soap away, and I don't know if they didn't like the fucking label either, or they just misunderstood that I gave it to them, but they ended up giving it back to me, so I have it again.
Ooh, I'm putting a little undersea on right now. Whoa, man,
Nice.
that's so good.
It's a
And I
fantastic
noticed
scent,
the
though.
other day, because
I'm
I just
thrilled by the
used
new
this,
label.
and the scent hung around a good while, just from the splash. And man, it's such a good scent. It was my
Thank you.
favorite scent of last year. And whether this has a new label or not, I'm kind of sentimental now about the old label because we had so much fun with it, and it really was fun. But it's a great scent, and I really like it a lot. But it was funny
Thank you.
because people were really polarized. It was a very polarizing label because there's people who say it's the worst thing I've ever seen, and there's people who say it's the most artsy, funky, fresh thing they've ever seen, and they love it. So it's one of those things that it was just
But that's
very
but that's what
polarizing.
you want. You know
I
what?
work for a school district. I work for schools, and I'll tell you right now, there's about 500 sixth graders in the district. They
Oh
could
boy,
draw some
He's
shit
not
that
full
looks
of
he's
shit.
about
exactly
to
like
offend
Come
your
on
artist,
now.
Peter.
dude. You cannot tell
Actually,
me that doesn't look like an elementary kid's family portrait. You can't be. You're fucking
oh,
kidding me.
it's a work of art. It's a work
Okay,
of art.
I
All
gotta
right.
get to some of these questions. Uh, Magic Mike says, when is LSS, Losing Skeletor, dropping? Which we have right here. Now this, folks, this is just a test, by the way, a tester. Nate has not given his opinion yet on the scent. And my initial thoughts on this is as soon as Nate smells it, he's going to go, Skeletor is melting, too much scent, too much scent. Ah!
Yeah, I made it pretty strong.
So, but this is still in test. So, Pete, what's it look like? Is you got to have Nate sign off, or how's
Yeah,
that
yeah.
going to work?
I want to hear back from Mel and Nate, and if they give their thumbs up, then we'll release it.
Excellent. Awesome. That sounds
Yeah.
like excellent. Banaka says, can you make me peach and cognac EDP? Ooh, that's a good question, Banaka.
Yeah, I absolutely. Oh, you mean just like now, just put it together, or
Well, I think she's
can I
asking,
make it?
will you
Yeah,
make an
yeah,
EDP, peach and cognac?
yeah. I'm not gonna make an EDP for every scent, but for certain ones, yes. So Asian Plum will certainly come back. The Novelist will definitely come back. Probably Peach and Cognac.
Awesome.
I'll maybe make that a little bit less sweeter. Asian Plum will be a little bit less sweeter, so it's more wearable. So, but yeah, for sure, for sure.
Reed, Lather Whipster from Shave Line NBD. I think that airs on, is that Sunday evening? I think so. If I'm not, you can comment, Reed. He wants to know, who was the lady on the OG American Pie, and can we pay extra for that label if possible? He really likes that OG label,
Oh,
American Pie.
so are you referring to? You said the lady. Oh, you're talking about the original one. So
Yeah,
that was just clip art. I mean, I just got that from freaking Shutterstock.
gotcha.
So, yeah, I don't know who she is. Originally I
So,
thought you were talking about our model Jody.
Silky wants to know, what are the top selling scents from Ariana and Evans?
I'd have to check because that
Off
does
the top of your
change.
head, what do you think?
At Kai's, Asian Plum has always been our top seller.
Oh, wow.
Kaizen overtook Asian Plum. Then there's whenever I have a new release, it just goes crazy. Like this past weekend, it just goes nuts. So and then we see how much staying power that it has. So but all of our soaps for the most part are steady. Like we still sell a lot of. I don't understand why. I would love to get rid of it. Um, uh, um, the Aventus soap. Yeah, that's
Spartacus?
Byron
That's a
soap.
good one. Yeah.
Yeah, Spartacus. So, I mean, I didn't want another guy. God bless Matt Hilton. I really miss him.
Yeah,
I liked him.
seemed to be a
So
very nice guy.
my biggest regret in wet shaving right now, I'm starting to get
Oh boy,
goosebumps. Is
he's gonna
not
love everybody here in
no
a minute.
yeah is not having the opportunity to meet him. I really would have loved to have a beer with Matt.
Right.
So
So,
man, that was sad. But anyway, he
molecular
was the
jet.
one that pushed me. He's the one that
Go
pushed me
ahead.
for Spartacus. I didn't want to do Spartacus. I was dead set against it. I hate doing clones, and or dupes or whatever you want to call it.
That's whack,
And
dog.
yeah, that is whack. But they sell. But
Yeah.
I
No, no, no,
just
no.
rather
I,
make my own stuff.
let me be clear. The look. the dupe scents, which is pretty much standard procedure, in wet shaving, they are well researched. There's tens, if not hundreds of $1,000s in those fragrance and the development of those fragrance in testing and marketing. They are good fragrances, the dupe fragrances. That's why people love them. And so I know that a lot of artisans are like, I'm artsy fartsy, I don't want to do dupes. But from a consumer perspective, those scents are well established and great, and that's why people love them. The customers love them because they're well researched, and it's different than somebody working in the kitchen there for 2 or 3 days whipping up a fragrance. It's a whole different ballgame.
Chris really went around in circles on just a way of saying the fucking dupe scents are better than what most artisans are fucking producing. That's the sad fucking truth. I'm sorry to break it to the artisans. Most artisans are not good perfumers. The fucking
I wouldn't
dupes
say
are
that.
way better. Most of them, Chris, come on. There's maybe 3 perfumers that could even come close into the fucking wet shave community that do anything that's good of anything that we get of Tom Ford. A Tom Ford dupe is better than 98% of what we have out there. I'm sorry to break it to every artisan that's going to break their heart or hate me, but it's just better. I'm sorry.
David's label just got further away, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's get to Molecular Jeff's question here. Your cannabis scents are amazing. Are any new ones in the works? And I'm going to tell you, Pete, I do not like them.
Yeah, I know. That's not your thing.
I don't want to go around smelling like any funky ganja.
Yeah, but it really doesn't. I mean, they all smell like. I mean, Khalifa.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah.
It's really good. But that's like, incense. Chasing the Dragon smells, I think it's beautiful.
Right.
Cannabis Santal has more of that cannabis scent, but I think it's still a wonderful scent. That's one of my favorite soaps, soap scents. And so am I going to be doing more? Yeah, probably. Bang is going to be coming out. So this is going to be something. So all the cannabis scented soaps to date are, off the shelf. I buy. It's a really, really good synthetic cannabis scent. I've figured out a way to create my own using essential oils and resins. So, and I've had people here test, and they said it's actually, side by side, along with real cannabis oil.
Yes, Vida stuff for sale.
And it's really good. So I'm gonna use that in Bang, and that's the Skin Essentials line.
So more are coming.
One more, and then probably that's it.
All right, let's get on to the next question. Noble Drew, will you still provide soaps for Sphinx and Alexandria fragrances?
Yes, I just shipped out a whole bunch to them the other day, so they'll be restocked.
Do you send them? Do they send you the oils in order to put those?
Yeah. So they send the oils, so they're in control of what I make for them. So I make the soaps, and that's it. So it's a white label deal. I mean, although they mentioned actually Ariana and Evans in the write up.
Molecular Jeff says he's an avid smoker and will be happy to test those cannabis scents for you.
Very
HD
good.
Crossbones says, is it easier to market vegan soaps?
So as far as marketing, it's the same, right? It's just you just create ads or whatever. The marketing is marketing. As far as the selling of soaps, I think still people prefer tallow-based soaps, although that is, I think, slowly changing. A lot of people realize that vegan soaps are most are not as good, but some are as good. There's a few that make really, really, really good vegan soaps. So, and then ours would be included in that. Honestly, I think the Skin Essentials soap, soap base is as good as Kaizen.
It's good.
And there's a few guys that say it's better than Kaizen and better than Kaizen 2. So I don't think it's better than Kaizen or Kaizen 2, but I think it's every bit as good as Kaizen. I think it's slicker than Kaizen, believe it or not, but I don't think the lather is quite as dense. So that's next what I'll be working on, is seeing if I can make it every bit as dense as Kaizen 2.
Excellent. Sepperton Shaves of YouTube, giving away that Ace of Spades razor, by the way, so check out Sepperton Shaves on YouTube. He wants to know, is it true the Undersea label was a David tribute soap that he was the model for?
It is true. It is absolutely true. So Jeff asked for, if I knew of a model, and David sent some nude pictures of himself, because he does that often, and we ran with it.
There you go. Art wants to know, and this is something maybe can be talked about offline. He says when he tries to order the Vita via the Leather and Blade link, it says he has to be a member, so that might be something to...
It shouldn't, because we've sold a lot. I don't know. Yeah, I have to check, but it shouldn't. It shouldn't.
Okay. Lord Shady says, let's congratulate Sepperton Shaves on his first YouTube plaque.
Plaque?
Or plague? Plaque? What plaque? I don't understand.
It is plaque.
I'm
You
lost.
get plaques when you hit certain benchmarks in subscribers.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
cool.
nice. Congratulations.
Sepperton Shaves wants to know, Pete, will you be doing a tribute soap for David or Chris first? Ooh, that's a good question. Good question.
I think what we should do is do combined soap for your show.
That's right. Yeah, Real Talk needs a soap, David, right?
Real talk.
We need to work together.
Has anyone done a soap for you?
Nope.
Oh, I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
That's
there
it.
we have
It's done.
it, folks.
Done
There
deal.
will be a Real Talk soap. David and I will agree on the ingredients, so it won't be one person. Okay, thank you, Pete. We appreciate that. And thank you for the question, Sepperton. Sepperton making it happen
I'm gonna
tonight.
I'll give you a shit ton of soaps to give away. And I'll do the same thing with
Thank you.
with
Thank you, Pete.
Mel and Nate.
Oh, that's awesome. So you heard it. You heard it here first, folks. Pete, not only did he make this soap for Nate and Mel, but he will provide some giveaways for them, which I know not everybody does. And that's awesome. So we thank you for that.
I'll give them like maybe 10 soaps or something, or maybe a week. They could do a week of giveaways.
That's quite generous. That's
Hey, just
really
to answer
cool.
what the Shaving Disciple put in the comments, Vida is not a tribute soap to me, Shaving Disciple. It's just something that I kind of collaborated with Peter and Raza with, kind of told them my vision for artwork and for the scent, and those guys made it happen. So it's not a tribute, but it's just something I collaborated my thoughts and opinions on with them.
So Trevor wants to know, any plans to bring back Roja Enigma Creation E-Soap? I don't know what that is.
Roja Dove Enigma. They had two different names. I think one was for Europe, one was for US. I don't know why they had two different names. Same fragrance. Yes, at some point.
Art Shea says, Pickpocket Pete owes me a Miles Davis soap. Okay. That's
Okay.
awesome.
Love Miles Davis.
How does Mrs. Charkey like the new model? Now, funny story. The other day when I was talking to Pete, I was joking with Pete, and I said, hey, if you keep doing these model photo shoots, you're going to end up with Ariana, and Evelyn's going to end up with Evans, because she's going to take half. And I was joking. So my understanding is she's supportive of the direction of the business and the photo shoots and so forth.
I don't make any decisions without her and my daughters. Okay. Hey, Evelyn, what did you think of Jody, the new model? Very nice. She's a lovely girl. So she's just yelled out. She's very nice. Did you support it? Yes, she said.
Who can eat more, David Gonzalez or Ray Pope? Oh, I'm thinking Ray Pope. That question's from Nate. What do you think?
Actually, I think nobody gets.
I've heard stories about David, though.
This is Evelyn.
Hi, Evelyn.
Hi, Evelyn. I know Evelyn.
She can't hear you.
There's the brains and work. There's the brains and muscle of the operation.
Muscle, yeah. She's and definitely the brains and the beauty.
Well, that too, of course.
Yeah.
Shaving Disciple. Will A&E get into the high-end razor game? Oh, don't go too far on that one, Pete.
Maybe. Maybe. That's all I'll say.
Now, the reason I'm saying that is because Pete did share something that he's not able to disclose yet. And I know he's drinking, So I don't want him to screw up his business relationship.
But it's
So
not anything that they're thinking. They're all right. I'm not going to say a word.
probably,
Yeah,
probably.
Peter,
But they're
shut the
not. They're
fuck
not
up. 'Cause
thinking.
you're gonna screw it up. Don't say nothing. Shut up.
Razor Ray wants to know: do you think there will always be a perfect soap formula, or is there always room for improvement? You're asking Pete, Ray. You know his answer.
So there's always there's no such thing as perfection, right? So there's always room for improvement. But I think you had touched on this, Chris. Excuse me. I think as artisans make improvements, they're becoming much smaller
Incremental.
improvements. Yeah, incremental.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. So I don't want to make incremental changes. This thing with what I'm doing with the emu oil, it's like this is not a new release. This is not
Super Blue
Kaizen 3.
Emu, baby.
Yeah.
Super Blue, another visionary, right here. You heard it here first.
But I do experiment a lot. I'm always making new bases, and I'm always challenging myself. I'm always trying to see if I can do things better. So and I know even now I can do better than K2, and I think K2 with the emu oil is better. So and I think I could do better than that. So it's
So the
I'm
answer
always
is
going to look to improve. I'm always going to look to improve. Plus, plus you don't want to go look at the artisans. You've been around a long time, Chris, right? And David, you've been around a long time. Think about the artisans that were really popular 7 years ago, right?
right. There's changes there for sure.
Yeah. So unless you're updating, you can't rest on your laurels ever. You can't rest on your laurels, or you're not a business person. I'm not. This is not I'm not criticizing anyone, but you can't just be comfortable. You have to always be nervous. You have to always worry about what you're going to do next, because otherwise you're going to fail.
Kim says if Pete starts milking a hamster, she's out. Speaking of which, before I get to Art's question, Kim was talking about all the different types of milks in the soap. We have camel milk. We have every kind of milk. Her question was, is there differences in what those do, or do they all sort of serve the same purpose?
So
and
I'm gonna
keep it pithy.
Yeah, I'm going to make some people angry, but I'm going to say, so milk does make a difference, but I've experimented with evaporated milk. I've experimented with no fat, cheap, off from ShopRite, non-fat dry milk, the powdered milk. I've experimented with goat's milk, all kinds of different milks. Coconut milk I use for the vegan line, and it's tremendous. And if I compare the coconut milk to the goat's milk, there's really not a difference. I don't see a difference.
Oh, wow. That's surprising to me.
But there's definitely a difference when you add milk. So it does become creamier. I love the consistency. It adds to the post shave. So so there is a difference, but whether it's hamster milk or donkey milk or horse milk or listen, cow milk, powdered cow milk, cheap dehydrated milk from ShopRite works.
Okay.
But nobody's going to want cow milk. Nobody wants cow milk. So
we'll try. Art wants to know, when is the Pastors NYC get together? And I'm thinking on that one, because of the Rona, it set things back, and things still aren't 100% the way they were. And so
so we want to do it, and we're talking about it. I was thinking about it today, about contacting the ship line, but I don't. So if I do something like that, it's a big commitment on my part, because I have to put up the money, and I don't know how many people are willing to travel yet. I mean, I would, but how many people are willing to travel to New York City? When we did, you didn't go on that.
No, I didn't.
But a lot of people did travel for that. We had like 110 people. I rented a yacht.
Yes.
And it was amazing. The camaraderie, everyone got along. Not this politics bullshit that was going on the last, few years. It was just, it was so cool. It was just amazing. I would love to get back to that. And so we'll do something this summer, probably towards the end of the summer. I think we have to just see how things go.
So You just answered Justin's question, but I just want to acknowledge it. He was just basically saying realistically how much can soaps improve, and you basically answered that a little bit ago. So I'm going to move on to Sweet Baby Ray's question. Will we be seeing more sexy labels in the future?
Well, I'm going to bring back the original Amber Rose. That's pretty much as sexy as it gets. But that'll be just for the club members. So I'll keep
Gotcha.
the safer version for the retailers. They may not appreciate it. The club members are a bunch of pervs, so they want
There is that.
the culo. So
Sefferton Shaves wants to know, is Pete reviving the YouTube channel? The YouTube channel is still there.
it's still there. I just haven't done a video in quite some time. I think about it a lot. It's just again finding the time to do it. And the motivation to do it. But yeah, I will do it. And I'm thinking I won't even shave with my stuff, or at least not every time. You know,
Right.
I haven't, honestly, Chris, Dave, it's been so long since I've purchased another Artisan soap, because I'm always testing my own stuff. But
Right.
but I should buy other people's soaps and, you know, and shave with it and not review it. That wouldn't look really
Fair
good,
enough.
right? But shave with it, and if I don't like it, maybe I don't shave with it on camera. But if I
Right.
like it, I'll just say, oh, you know, it's a great soap. I won't review it though. But I think I should do more of that.
No, Shady wants to know what we find whack, but we've already answered that one. Let me make sure. I had so many questions in here. I don't know if I've gotten them all, but I hope I've gotten, yeah, I hope I've gotten most of them. I also have some more here still. Let me see if I can find them. Oh, here's a question that I was thinking of. When you first started out in your soap making effort,
Hmm.
was there anybody that helped you along the way that you'd like to acknowledge? Anybody that lent you advice
Yeah,
or
yeah. So the Vita helped me a bit. She was making soaps for me. Of course, she didn't give me a recipe, but I tell
right?
you who gave me the most help was Stefan from the Holy Black. So
Oh,
I'm friends with Stefan. I love Stefan. He's a great guy. What you see is what you get. It's not shtick. I mean, that's Stefan, and just like me. I mean, I am who I am, Stefan. And you know, he would go to all the meetups in New York City, and he just likes to have a
Came to
great
the
time.
big shave.
What's that?
He came to the big shave.
Yeah, Big Shave. He went to the Big Shave down in Florida. Um, he's a great guy, and he's one I feel comfortable with, and he was very cool about the whole process. And what he did for me was I didn't even know where to start. He gave me a laundry list. Pete, you got to get an induction cooktop. You got to get a 20-quart stainless steel. You got to get a long spoon. You have to get an infrared. He just gave me a list of all the things I need to buy that I didn't even thought of. And he goes, and as far as soap bases, you know what, the very first soap that he learned on was the guy from LA Shaving. I think he sold it to Chiseled Face, but I forgot the guy's name. But he posted on Badger and Blade, I think it was, his recipe
Yeah.
on how he made his soap, and it's still there. He goes, look it up. You're going to find a lot of stuff on the internet. Play with it. You know, don't, you know, obviously you're not going to want to do what, you know, what they did, but it give you an idea how to make a soap. So Stefan is great. I mean, he helped me a lot. And anytime I would call, he would pick up the phone, and even to this day, I don't necessarily ask for advice, but we talk. So
okay,
yeah, so
awesome.
those two in particular. Chris Cullen, I think I called him once. He was helpful, but that's pretty much it. I just
Awesome.
learned on my own for the most part.
Austin wants to know why you don't have a free shipping minimum. In other words, you know, the companies where you spend 65, you get free shipping. You spend 75, $100, and then the shipping is free. That's a question that came up a couple of times this week.
Yeah. So there's actually a reason for that. My business model is very different than any other artisan in the industry. My website is very different than any other artist in the industry. So I have within the shaving shop, for example, I have the VIP room, you know, the back room that's
Right.
only accessible to those guys. They already get 20% off. I can't offer free shipping to them, right? 'Cause otherwise, why be in business if I'm going to be 20% off plus free shipping? Come on, it's a little bit too much. So I'm not going to do it. It's very simple. And but it adds complications. So how do I add the free shipping to those that are non-members, but for the members, they have to pay shipping? It's just going to cause problems. So, you buy from me. If you're looking for free shipping, then, buy from Magards or whoever you buy from.
Razor company.
Yeah, the Razor company. Yeah, so, I mean, if that's your thing, and I get it, I understand. So my store won't be for everyone, and it isn't, but we do things differently. But there's reasons for it, because it just adds a lot of complications. And if I gave away free shipping to non-members, what are the members? I have 1,000 members, over 1,000 members. What are they going to say? They say, "What the hell is this?
Right.
Why am I paying for a membership, and you're giving free shipping?" So it's just, I'm not going to go there.
Understand. Let me see what we have here. Kim wants to know, do you add the fragrance during the soap mixing or let the base rest a while and then add the fragrance?
So it depends. Now we're doing it as we're mixing. We let it cool down because it has to be at a certain temperature, Kim. But and depending on the oils. But before, I would just cook unscented soaps and scent them after the fact. So, but now we're doing it during the cook.
Okay, thanks for that. So we're almost at the end here because I want to commit. I committed to kind of trying to keep it.
Wow,
tight.
it's over an hour and a half already.
Yeah,
let's go. Let's go 2 hours. 2 hours.
2 hours.
Another
No,
half hour.
we're cutting it at an hour and a half because we got shit to do.
So David, what are your thoughts here? You've not had a lot to say tonight because I've been keeping the questions. I had a lot of questions both on screen and on the cards, and I haven't even got to them all because Pete. There's a lot of questions for Pete. David, what do you have here?
Well, I'm not really shocked with how that went because just like Peter's soaps are in demand, people also want to really have a demand on his time. They're going to want to ask a lot of in-depth questions about the inner workings. And even though I understand the reasons behind a lot of what Peter does, because we do talk quite a bit away from this type of live shit. There's a lot of people that want to be privy to stuff. You can't make everybody happy, so they're always going to have some kind of request and whatnot. And it's just kind of cool to be able to see him be able to kind of get that out to people because there's just always something.
Do you have any questions for Pete? Again, apologies for keeping it, but trying to keep it on track and moving.
No, dude, I see Razor Ray said I seemed annoyed. I wasn't annoyed at all, trust me. I got no issue telling you motherfuckers when I'm bothered by something. And no, I wasn't bothered at all. I just know I have to keep a leash on fucking Peter because we'll be here for 3.5 hours. I said, nah, hour and a half, we're fucking cut off, goddammit, because we got to do some shit.
So here's what I would say, because I get it from both sides. So when I make a video, if I air any criticism for Pete, they'll say I'm too hard on Ariana and Evans. If I say positive things, they say I'm a fanboy of Ariana and Evans. So what I would say is the product has just reached a point where it's absolutely superb. I've said it. I used Ariana and Evans 3 or 4 times this week, and I said, if you want a skin foodie soap that doesn't suffer from some of the drawbacks that other skin foodie soaps do, which is for me, they have become less fun to lather because there's so many oils in them and they've gotten so goopy that what can happen is, especially if you're a bowl latherer, you put it in the bowl and it just disappears. And if you add water, it disappears and it's almost like a brushless cream all of a sudden. And I find I have to add twice as much product. Ariana and Evans is not that. It's giving you the skin foodie type stuff that you want without the finicky lathering, which I don't like at all. And I've said this week, when soap makers push the envelope on the oils and butters to the point where they become like lotion, I don't want it. It's no longer fun for me. I want a nice, dense lather. Ariana and Evans will give you that. We've been using it for a long time. There's no doubts about it. we've spoken about fulfillment on the channel, and here tonight we've spoken about everything else in the direction of the company. So ultimately, the people have to make their own decisions. But I will say, in terms of scents, in terms of the product, I'm proud to see where Pete has gone with this. There's been an
Thank you.
evolution, a steady improvement. I think there's still improvement to be made, and you've referenced that. You have never shied away from saying, hey, I need to make some improvements here and here when it comes to fulfillment, or we've talked about it before, answering customer service stuff.
No,
And
I
again,
suck. I suck at it.
I urge you to make sure someone is hired to take care of that.
Yeah.
Hire
Yeah.
somebody to answer those emails.
Well, Sheila was
customer
doing it, but it became, it's difficult because of the time difference. So I find myself having to answer it anyway, and it's just I'm not good at that. Because I get,
But anyway,
yeah, all right. I know you
the
have to go.
the product is on point. It comes at a really good value, especially if you're a club member. And I know people say, I don't want to join the club. I don't want to pay for the privilege of buying the soap. But it's one of those things. Pete is one of us. He started when a lot of us did. He was a hobbyist just like the rest of us. And he does remain so. And so, you know, I'm always happy when I get an Ariana and Evans product. But I will never steer clear of saying, hey, Pete, it took a little long to get to me. Just because I am excited about getting the product. Although I will say personally, I haven't had very many problems in that realm. I did see some comments to that effect this week when I was using the soaps where people did air those things. And it's always important to acknowledge those things. But one of the things I'm really happy about is that you do give back, like with this soap right here, Losing Skeletor, giving back, having fun, giveaways, and so I appreciate that you still consider all of us, and it's not a one-way thing, whereas you're just collecting money and reaching into our pockets. You're giving back too, and I want to thank you for that. It's one of the things that I appreciate. And so, Pete, last words.
But before that,
go
though,
ahead.
that's something I do appreciate as well, man. There's still artisans out there that have an arrogance to them that act as if we should owe them something. We're giving them our money, and I don't think, even though Peter could be a moody bitch sometimes, I don't think he ever forgets where his biscuit is buttered. He knows that if he takes care of us, we're gonna take care of him, and he hasn't forgotten to do that. And again, he's a moody bitch sometimes. I think that's the East Coast thing. But when he can, he gives back, man. And I'll always support artisans. They really want to be part of the community, just not take from the community.
That's excellent. Being part of and not just taking from.
And you guys know that for whatever reason, if this business just wasn't here, I would just be doing what I did before. So I'm part of the community for sure.
Okay, so Pete, final words. What would you like people to know about yourself or Ariana and Evans? I'm sorry.
So the brand. I think people have the perception that we're just this enormous company. I don't know why, but I'm kind of from the inside looking out. So it's like, but I get that feeling when some people message me that we're so big. But I mean, we're really not that big. I mean, 7 employees. That includes family. Mamacita's here helping, and so. We're still a family business, but we're growing, and so keep that in mind. I'll always be an artisan. We'll never be a manufacturing facility. Somebody asked me the other day, why don't you just vend it out instead of? But if I vend it out, we'll be like Tops. You know, the quality they can't do what we're doing. So
don't do that. I fucking hate Tops.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna.
Rest in peace, Noodle.
No, I can't do that. So everything is still handcrafted, just on a larger scale, but made the same way as I made it in the kitchen, but better. But so that's the challenge. That's the biggest challenge for me is learning to scale up. I had this conversation with I'm going on and on and on. I had this conversation with Khan like 2 years ago. Khan, you know Khan.
Yes.
And he said that's the biggest thing is that learning to scale up. And so I finally learned it, but it's very expensive to do that. But we invested in it. And we spent a lot of money. So, but it's worth it. We had to, otherwise we would die on the vine.
Right.
So we had to.
Well, Pete, I thank you very much for coming on and answering these questions and calling it
My
like
pleasure.
you see it. I know it won't be for everybody. Nothing we do is for everybody, but again, I want to reiterate what you've done to give back and the groups and just be part of things that's why you have the loyalty that you have, in my opinion, is because you're giving back. You're not just there to collect our money, and that means a lot to me. And so, we're friends, but also, we do business. And when we do business, if something is not right, I will say so.
Yeah,
but
and you
but
have.
that said, I have, and I'm wishing you continued success and
Thank you.
continued growth. And big time Pete, no longer small family business Pete, big time Pete. We're expecting big things from big time Pete. Thank you so
Thank you.
much, and thanks to Evelyn and the family for all they're doing as well. We really appreciate you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
And also
Good time.
David. Thank you, David. And sorry, it was a rapid fire show tonight. Anything last words, David?
Nah, man, everybody have a great 4th of July weekend. Enjoy your
Yes.
family. Still be safe. The Rona's still out there. It is a better time, but we're still not 100, man. So just be safe, have fun. Love y'all, man, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Thank you again, Pete. Until next time, remember,
Thanks.
it's your shave, do it your way. God bless you all. Have a great night.
Thank you.